Looking for a classic arcade racing game? If you answered yes, check out my review of Formula Bit Racing DX. Coming up next on Mumbles. Hi everyone, Mumbles here. At one time or another, I'm sure pretty much everyone has played one of those old school racing games. You know, they used to show up online all the time with flash games and things like that. But beyond that, they were also a staple of the Atari systems and games like that. Those games where you had those top-down views of cars and you had to drive them one way or another and try to avoid things. That is the type of game that we are reviewing on today's episode of Mumbles. So we're going to go straight into the description. Description-wise, this game reads, Formula Bit Racing is a fun arcade racing game that's influenced by classic arcade racing games of the early 90s. Each curve and each lap in Formula Bit Racing recreates classic arcade gameplay and offers you unbound speed limits of fun, full throttle, and enjoy. At the time of this review, this game is available for all major systems, including Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, and Switch, for a price of $4.99. We are reviewing this thing today on the Xbox Series X, so please do be aware of that. So that covers all the basic information. Let's now move on into the gameplay section. But first, please subscribe to MumblesVideos. And thank you guys all so much for the support. You are amazing. Gameplay time? So moving on in the gameplay section, gameplay-wise, the idea behind this game is the same as many 90s arcade racers out there. Basically, you are having top view of your car, and the idea is that you want to win the race. Now to do that, you do have a boost, you have your steering, and you have your gas and brake. And basically the idea is get around your opponents, do not run into things, and win the race. Very simple concept of a game. But there are some cons to this idea of a game. The first con being the steering. You know, just like many 90s games that I wasn't personally able to master, this game has steering that steers like it is back from the 90s. Literally, it is so hard to get into corners and things like that for a game that is supposed to be arcade. This does not play like a arcade game. It plays more like a hardcore racer game where you literally have to learn how to brake and have to learn how to use the gas correctly in order to win each race. The second con is that this game is overly simplistic. It literally takes the idea of 90s game and says, hey, let's just make a new 90s game. And that's what it does. The final con that I have for this game is the steep learning curve. I kind of alluded to it already, but this game does have a steep learning curve when it comes to driving these cars. So that pretty much sums up the game. So we now come to the score section. I have to say, I had high hopes for this game, but what I got was literally a game that just cloned 90s games and said, hey, let's take a clone of these 90 games and make another one. And that is unfortunately exactly what they did. So it plays like a 90s game. It should have probably been made back in the 90s, and it doesn't really take advantage of any of the new types of controls and things like that that we have out there on the market today. As a result, on today's episode of Mumbles, I can only give this game a 4 out of 10. If you are a lover of these type of games, this game will suit you. You will love it. You will think I am crazy for giving it a 4. If you are someone who has not played these type of games or is not good at these type of games, this game is not going to suit you. That is why I give it on today's episode of Mumbles a 4 out of 10. Anyways, guys, this has been my review of Formula Bit Racing. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Please smack the subscribe button, smack the like button, and smack all those buttons. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.